Welcome, everyone, to another exciting Thursday here. It is the end of December, December 28th. Merry Christmas to everyone who celebrated. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Boxing Day. This is the Two Men in a Room show. I am one of your co hosts, Anthony from Orlando, and our other co host.
Vernell, also from Orlando. Me and Anthony will be going over our past 6 months of episodes that we been gathering for each and every one of you. We want to say thank you to all that has supported us, subscribed as well. Anthony have a list of things for us tonight. So let's just jump right on into it and see what
Right.
Anthony got going on for tonight.
I'll start off with our year in review, as two big things did happen this year that probably nobody remembers now. But one was the doomsday clock was moved to 90 seconds to midnight. If you don't know what the doomsday clock is, it's basically a giant clock that tells how close we are to a world-ending event. They based it off of nuclear war because at the time when they built it, that's what the biggest event was going to be. So now we're 90 seconds there. They may move it a little again this coming January 1st, so something to watch for. And then this was the year that COVID ended. All the COVID payouts, we'll say, those slowed down. A lot of people were told to go back to work. A lot of COVID procedures were then, pulled back. And if you had other medical stuff, you could go back in and do that. So those were two big events that happened that kind of changed the world, but nobody really noticed because in some states it never shut down, in other states it completely shut down. Some other big events throughout the year. There was Tom Brady's official retiring,
Which
and the
nobody
Kansas
don't
City
care.
and the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl this year. So that was one event Travis Kelce was happy about this year. We'll get to the second one later on. There was a huge earthquake in Turkey and Syria back in February. A total of 750,000 died in that earthquake. And as you'll see going throughout the year, there were actually quite a few earthquakes that had been happening. In Iceland and in Asia. So, not sure where the Earth's at for this year. Might have been a little disgruntled this year. Another fun topic that came up was the Chinese spy balloon, which circled across the globe and over the U.S. for 5 days and then was eventually shot down in North Carolina. Everybody remembers the giant white balloon that you could basically just stare up and see. Let's see. We moved into March. Taylor Swift starts the Eras tour, and Ticketmaster shut down. Basically the website could barely hold itself together, getting tickets to everyone, and we all know where that went down. Other big stuff: Donald Trump was indicted, the first U.S. president or former U.S. president to be officially charged with a crime. Silicon Valley Bank failed, which a few other regional banks also failed with it. So there was that to look at and wonder, is our banking system safe? As it would prove, it's pretty well held together. Hasn't failed yet, so we'll go with that. We moved into April and we said a sad goodbye to Harry Belafonte passing away. Uh, he was a pivotal person during the civil rights movement and had a lot of great songs, and we sadly said goodbye to him in April. In May, one of my favorite topics, the Hollywood writers' strike began and would go on until September. So, no writing. We had to write our own jokes. We had to do our own stuff at the time. King Charles III was crowned, officially making him the King of England. And sadly, another passing in May. Tina Turner passed away. And all you have to do is put in Tina Turner into YouTube and watch one of her videos. And just an amazing voice, amazing singer. Tina Turner passed away. June was a fun month because we started our show. June 12th was the very first episode of Two Men in a Room. We talked about checks. We talked about the Denver Nuggets winning the championship. And we talked about dating and what type of women I wanted, apparently. That was a fun episode. And one of our episodes after that focused on the Ocean Gate submersible Titan. This was the submarine that went down to Titanic and looked around and got stuck there. It was a few weeks later they found out that it had actually imploded into itself and killed everybody on board. So we were sad in that show. If you remember that one, go watch that show.
So
July was a big month. Oh, yes.
would you have, if you had the opportunity to do that, have you, would you did it, have done it?
To go see Titanic?
Yes.
It's not in my idea of fun stuff. And there
Uh-huh.
was actually a pretty good Titanic museum here in Orlando that I think I probably would have just went to that museum and checked stuff out. I don't think I would have paid to go down to see it. There's too many things that could go wrong and apparently did go wrong for
Right.
me to want to say I'd go see that. I'd go diving to see like the coral reefs in Australia or something like that. That would be interesting. But I don't think
But
I'd dive far enough for Titanic.
no.
What about?
I just think let Titanic go. It's over. I mean, it's over. I
Uh,
mean, why you want to go see pieces of the Titanic? I mean,
I mean,
because you
for
don't
some
lost how
people,
many lives? It was like five people, right? What was it, like five
five or
people?
six people,
I
something like
mean,
that.
it just wasn't worth it. I understand people have things that they would explore, like you. You say that's not your thing.
Right.
Yes, I watched the Titanic, so and I think it was very good. It was very interesting, but I'm not going to go deep sea diving because I want to see a piece of Titanic. And earlier you mentioned earthquakes.
Yes.
So now that you know what go on with earthquakes, would you
Right.
move somewhere where earthquakes happen?
Well, earthquakes happen a lot of places. It's just the
Right,
size of the earthquake. Certain places are more prone to them because of being under the tectonic plates of the earth. The earth is constantly shifting and moving, and when it hits itself, it kind of splits, and
right,
that's where you get the earthquakes.
right,
Uh, Also, when there's magma, it'll move it up and explode in volcanoes. Like Iceland, which we soon see had an earthquake which caused the volcanoes to go off. Seems like a really dangerous place to live and not very exciting. I mean, it's cold, it's snow, and there might be some ice. But for all that danger, do you really want to be there? It's like Hawaii, which we're going to see later. Hawaii's beautiful, very nice to visit, very nice to look at. But if one of those volcanoes goes off, do you really want to be living there?
no. I'm just not going to move somewhere. I may visit, and it all depends on the timing.
Mm,
Well, I'm not going to visit Hawaii because I'm not going to be on the plane that long, first of all. So that
that's
that
right.
they ain't got to worry about.
Right.
So that one is just out of the picture. Um, but I prefer not to move nowhere where tsunamis, earthquakes. So say that. you was already staying there.
Mhm.
After it's all said and done, would you prepare yourself to move eventually, or you'll continue to stay there?
I would continue to stay there. If it's still habitable, I think it's the word I'm looking for, because Florida gets hit by hurricanes, category 5s, which can destroy just as easily as an earthquake and volcano. But I still live here because I run through it, figure out what got damaged, fix it, and keep on living. And I like it.
But
So,
Central Florida really don't have damage though.
well, we got lucky this year. This year wasn't bad at all.
No.
Last year, car got flooded, so had a little bit of damage.
Okay,
But
yeah,
we
I
made
just
it
wanted
through.
to.
Be all right.
I didn't want to. I know you was going through certain topics, and I want to just bring up those topics again
Oh,
to
yeah.
see what you thought about it. And as far as the COVID, I think COVID forever changed the world
Mhm.
due to the death tolls, and um, people wasn't able to see their loved ones that was in certain group homes or um, old folks home. I really don't like calling it old folks home because that's just crazy to me. Um,
Assisted
a
living
living
places.
facility, right?
Yeah.
Um, but I think it forever changed lives because of that, and I don't think no one will ever forget it. And it was scary. Now I'm hearing that I guess it's supposed to be something going on next year. Like people need to stock up on bleach and toiletries again. I'm like, I didn't hear anything about it on the news or whatever, but just through the
Well,
grapevine, I should say.
I'm hearing the stories that yes, respiratory illnesses are going back up. Everyone is getting sick again. It's it won't be the same because I think people went through it all. Like that was a once in a lifetime event where you didn't know what to do or how to do it. And I spoke about this on my other show, Angriest Man. Uh, it was really a time where people had to test a lot of stuff to see if it was going to work. Nobody
Correct.
knew what, you know, keeping people isolated was going to do, but they thought if you stay isolated, you won't spread the disease. That in turn, for some people, didn't turn out to be the right way to do it. There was still people getting sick years later, and isolating them may have actually brought up depression, brought up, mental illnesses that could have been in them. And really, the isolation really affected people. And like you say, you couldn't go see family members. And if, family members were sick or possibly dying, it was even worse because you wanted to go see
Right.
them. And so I think people didn't realize what was going on at the time and didn't know how to react. I think if it were to happen again, there would be a slightly different approach to it. I think some places may still isolate, but others may not. You'll see kind of a more lax approach from a lot of people, um, unless you can tell that this disease really takes people out quickly. You're sick, you're passing on very quickly within a matter of days. I don't think people will take it as seriously. I don't know what the repercussions of that would be. Could there possibly be more death? I don't know. It's one of those you have to kind of go through it to see it. Worldwise, to shut the entire world down and then start it back up has been, I think, a bigger challenge than anyone thinks that they could have accomplished, because it really has been rough the last couple of years. And I don't think they were expecting it to be like this. I think they thought it was going to be like your car. You just start it and it goes. It didn't quite happen like that. But I think the stories will come up, especially into an election year, about, you know, is COVID still around? Could it come back? But I just have to wait and see. I think a lot of immunity is out there for COVID. A lot of people went through it and did make it out of it. So theoretically, if it's very similar to a flu, people get the flu, they get through it, and then they don't get as sick if they get it again. So
Right.
interesting.
Yeah, I got the flu shot, so we'll
Well,
see.
there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to some happier and brighter stuff in July. Uh Barbenheimer started. Oppenheimer and Barbie opened very close to each other, if not on the same day in some theaters. Both movies made well over $1 billion and were huge phenomenons. A lot of jokes and stuff were created, memes were created from this stuff. Uh Twitter was rebranded to X, so which most people still call Twitter, so that wasn't too big of a thing. And the actors' strike started, where you could see all your favorite actors grabbing a picket sign and complaining how their life is terrible, even though they make millions and millions of dollars and they get to play pretend all day. So that was fun and exciting. In August, we had a few different things happen. The Lahana fire in Hawaii on the island of Maui happened. A very terrible tragedy. The I think the cause, my own personal cause of it, was the telephone poles just being outdated and weak, and the winds from a tropical storm that was passing through at the time took the poles down and created live wires hanging in the grass. Uh, the the environment was dry, even though they were receiving some rain from the tropical storm, but not enough. The wires caught the grass on fire, and the town and region on the west side of Maui, La Hawaiiana, I believe is how they say it, uh, had a disastrous moment in time with the fires. People were basically running into the ocean, trying to find roads to get out of there, and some people actually burned alive in their car. And it was a terrible tragedy, and I believe there is a lawsuit on an electric company in Hawaii for that. So we'll have to see how that comes out. In the Women's World Cup, Spain won. I don't know if anybody had their money on them, but yeah, they're a pretty good team. And India became the fourth country to land a spacecraft on the moon, which means we may be going back to the moon sometime. September rolled around, one of our favorite months because our birthdays are in there. But we did have a sad passing once again. Jimmy Buffett, a folk singer, I would say, sang about good times on Key West and margaritas in hand. He sadly passed away in September, and that's when I kind of started picking up on him and listen to a lot of his music, and it's really good stuff if you just want to hang back and get a laid back vibe going at a party or something. It's really good to throw his stuff on. So that was September. Into October, Kevin McCarthy is ousted as the Speaker of the House, the first time ever a Speaker of the House had been voted out. Disney celebrated its 100th anniversary with a bomb. The movie Wish was one of the lowest profit movies for them all year. They had so many other bombs. I wasn't going to make a whole list for it. And then another sad event happened on October 7th. Hamas attacked Israel, and the Israeli government declared war. The Israel Hamas war officially began in October and has not concluded yet. We've talked about it a little bit on the Angriest Man in Orlando show. So go check that out if you want insights on that. We won't get into it too much here. Into November, ChatGPT celebrates 1 year. It seems that AI is here, it's growing, and it will be coming after you before you know it. Argentina gets a new president, and his name is President Malay, I believe, or Malay. He's doing some crazy stuff. He just found out that the office of the president had 244 cars and 142 drivers, and said he's firing all of the drivers, getting rid of the cars. So he's cutting down on government spending, which I think everybody can like for that.
How many
Another sad
they
pass.
had?
They had 242. Wait, it was 2 drivers for every car. My bad. So it was 142 cars and 244 drivers just for the office of the president.
That's foolishness.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said he's cutting all that stuff out. So
I mean,
way to
that's
go, Argentina.
yeah, that's crazy. Like I mean, no way. I mean, why? Why that many cars and drivers?
I I don't know what they were doing down there before all this. I mean,
Right.
you know, most of your motorcades have about maybe, I don't know, 20 cars, 25 cars. So even that's like 5 different motorcades that you would need. I don't
I
know.
don't know.
It's very
That's
strange.
crazy.
For our older viewers, this name may remind you of a simpler time. Henry Kissinger passed away in November.
Ooh,
I sort of slipped in the memoriam and the news all in one. So yeah, we're doing the passing aways also. Henry Kissinger. He was around during the 70s. International policy. I did it. I quickly read on it. I know I've heard his name several times. December rolled around, and sadly, we had another passing. Sandra Day O'Connor, the first woman to serve on the Supreme Court, passed away. Other major events for the year, there were the interest rate hikes. There were about 11 of them this year. So that was fun, seeing your credit card statement every month roll in. There was the auto union strike to add to the writers' strike and actors' strike. Subsequently, all these strikes have now wrapped up. So they're done. Some things have changed. A lot of people got fired. So we're moving from that. The debt ceiling was met a couple times this year, and they voted to simply just raise it a little bit more and keep the government rolling. So we'll see how long that goes for. And then in the presidential race, we got to see some contenders come out. We got to see both sides. You saw Donald Trump, you saw Ron DeSantis, you saw Vivek Ramaswamy. Uh, who else is in there? You saw on the other side Joe Biden come out. He said he was running for president. You saw Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say he was running for president. So 2024 rolls around. We'll see who gets elected and where we go from there. So those are some pretty good highlights of this year. I know we talked about quite a few of those on the show. Do you want to add any highlights into that? Anything you want to
honey,
add?
you just had enough.
It was a lot that happened, and I'm sure we missed. There was the Eras tour coming to theaters, and then Beyonce's Renaissance tour coming to theaters to battle it out. There was as they're calling it now, Swelsey, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey officially dating, and now she's going to every game and bringing the family to the game, which I've heard. Taylor Swift is well, she's leaning left, and a lot of people in the Democratic Party like that she's dating Travis Kelce because he's starting to bring some of the good old boys over to the left side. Not sure if that's really going to translate into votes or anything, but this could be a setup. I'm just saying this whole thing could be a setup.
So you saying that it's not genuine?
I think he might like her. I don't know if she likes him.
Okay. So why would she be going through all this if she really didn't like him?
I think influence gets her name out there even bigger and better. I think she's the type that likes to be on top. Yes, I left it. Now you can clip that and make that into a joke. But yes, she likes to be the bigger name. She likes to be the brighter star. And
What
this
she
kind of
is
gives this
anyway
to
when it come to
her.
him. When it come to him, she is.
Right. And she likes that. So she's
So
not
you
going to
think,
go try to date somebody who's bigger than her.
well, it don't get bigger than the Taylor Swift, the Beyonce, and several, the Celine Dion and those people because I mean
Mhm.
they A-list stars. So I mean I don't know, but I don't think she's just wasting time flying and going to games and all that just because she gotta like him in some shape, form, or fashion.
I don't know. Her back history would say she might like it now. She may not like it later.
Well, we gonna follow Taylor because I see them being together versus you don't see them being together. So
Yeah, I don't see it as a long term thing. Like I said, I believe in one of the shows I called it till the Super Bowl, which is early February. So we'll see how that goes from there.
they're gonna make it. They're gonna make it. I have faith in Taylor Swift. I like Taylor Swift. She my girl. She my girl.
I know, I know. So we'll try to keep it PG on here for her.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was what else was there that happened? I'm trying to think. Anything else?
So now that you did a lot of recap
Mhm.
and we talked about majority of relationship and things of that nature. So have anything changed since then?
On the way we look at relationships?
The way you look at relationships.
Oh, the way I look at relationships. No, I don't think anything's really changed. Uh my stance still stands pretty true that a guy should lead, a girl should follow, unless there's a circumstance where the girl knows more than the guy on something, then it's like, okay, I think he should try to follow her into whatever she's going into.
So, okay, now that you say that, so would you have a problem following a girl?
If she knows what she's talking about, no, I wouldn't have a problem.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
We gonna see.
Okay, we're gonna see.
Well, I mean,
Um,
how you feel
there,
about them naming Orlando number one versus New York City for the holidays?
I understand why. I wouldn't have named it number one. I don't think Orlando is the top spot for New Year's Eve. And I've been looking through events. There's events, but not as many as I thought there would have been. Uh some of them are priced okay, some of them are a little overpriced. I still think infrastructure wise, it's a little lax. Like if I'm in the south end by International Drive and I want to get to downtown, there's no easy way to get there yet. So if if I'm going to a party at, one of the clubs there and then I want to go up to the downtown area, there's not a good way to do it. I would say possibly Miami's a little bit better at doing these kind of things. Now I got to look at their schedule for stuff, but New York is, take out the crime and all that, one of the easiest ways to get around because it has the subway system, runs most of the time. You've got Ubers and cabbies and all that stuff
You
that
got
are
Ubers and
still
cabbies here
there.
in Orlando.
The cabbie situation isn't as good. Mirrors kind of
I know,
screw
but
that all up.
don't
The Ubers
everyone
are
hang
okay.
but don't everyone hang in one spot for the ball drop in New York? That's it.
Well, the most of them are around Times Square,
Yeah,
but
Times Square.
you
Everybody
may
hang on
have
Times
different.
Square.
You have a lot of different events going on, a lot of different parties and different places you can go see. Where we have quite a bit, but not as much. So the weather's going to be fairly similar. I think we're predicted to be in the 50s, maybe 40s at around midnight on Sunday night. So it's not like you're coming down here to be in a much warmer environment and be like, I'm going to be out here in shorts and a t-shirt. It's, you're getting the same either way. So it's, plus it brings down a lot more people and then you can't get around here. So I kind of have a personal vendetta against that, them calling that and
well,
everything.
I well, I just think it ain't gonna get no easier because here in Orlando they still building and people just coming. So I think the only way to solve that is to just move. You know,
Yeah.
like the reason I won't really move to Atlanta is because of the traffic.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest reason because I ain't got time for the traffic. So I mean the nightlife, I mean the night traffic ain't so bad, but I can't do it. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I go to Orlando, I get frustrated with the traffic. I know I'm a great driver, but it's just the traffic. That's it. So I don't
So
know.
another big story we talked about throughout the year was Lizzo. Do you still think that she berated her dancers? Because we haven't heard much on it, but
I'm just gonna say, I mean, what happened because it died out and like there were no court dates, no, nothing. So I'm not saying that it's not true.
mm,
Allegedly, it was done, and I think they probably, I mean, settled out of court because it just disappeared. Like it wasn't nothing. Do I think
well,
I like Lizzo? I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I like Lizzo. Would I go to a Lizzo concert? Well, I don't really go to nobody concert. You know that.
mhm,
I do like her when she's performing and all that. But if she did body shame the dancers or whatever the case may be, she was wrong, and she
mm.
shouldn't have done that because it's not like she'll Coca-Cola shape herself. Um, but I just think nowadays and times you can't really tell an individual, oh, you fat or you ugly or whatever, because a lot of people have low self-esteem and it causes problems within. So I don't know. It just died. So I mean, the case like it went like cold case file or something.
Well, perhaps that was the intention. I mean, she was on a trajectory to kind of being a star. She was in a lot of different stuff. And then this came out, and then suddenly you didn't hear about her. So
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
maybe that was the whole point of it. Kind of weird.
So you think it was plotted?
There's a possibility because last I heard, there were talks that maybe one of the dancers had actually said she enjoyed it and she didn't really mind it and didn't care about it, but was going through with this lawsuit. So it was, there were a lot of mixed messages coming out. And that's why I was hoping everything would flesh itself out in a court. Never happened. We haven't heard anything since. Everyone's kind of quieted down. So maybe it's just kind of getting brushed away.
Right, right. I mean, only time would tell. Like I said, I haven't heard anything about the situation, so I mean, I hope she handled it to the best of her ability.
Mhm.
And if it did happen, she need to learn from it because you just can't do that. So people put themselves in certain situations before thinking. So that's just my take on that. So I don't
Mhm.
know. But I mean, she all right. She got a couple of songs I like. It is what it is, I guess.
Okay.
But so okay. So I know these stars, you have A list, I guess B list, C list, whatever category they want to
Mm.
put people in. Um, what what I don't understand is, I mean, everybody's human. I get it. So I usually be confused, like, okay, so like Oprah, your Brad Pitt, your Angelina Jolie, they supposed to be A-listers, right? Where they get
Right.
more money for whatever they're doing or whatever. So what about the B list and the C list and all them other people? I guess I mean because all I hear is the A list.
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of that?
Oh yeah, your A-listers are your top performers. They're
Correct.
going to be the main roles in music, movies, all entertainment. You'll see them on the most commercials to get the most endorsements. Your B-listers, you're going to see them in a movie every other year or so.
So why you
You're
say every
gonna,
other year?
because there are some that are like that. Look at Anna Faris. She's in a movie every other year. She was married to Chris Pratt. Now she's not married to Chris Pratt, and she's kind of died off. So she may have even dropped to C-list celebrity. So, you don't hear about her as much. You don't see her as much. You got, like I say, you got your B-listers. There'll be, an album every other year, a movie every other year. They get a few endorsements here and there. You see them on, pushing Puma sneakers or something. And then you got your C lists that are kind of your co-stars in movies. They kind of go through, a couple different movies. You'll see them and always be like, "Oh, I know that person from the other movie. I don't remember their name, but I've seen them in a couple different movies." Your C list. I think your celebrities who are just known as being celebrities kind of fall into that C list profile. They had what happened? It was a show called Vanderpump Rules, and it was a big scandal on there because this guy Tom Sandoval, who I'd never heard of in my life, was dating one of the girls on the show for a while, then ends up hooking up with one her friend on the show. And there was this huge scandal, and everybody knew their name for about 10 minutes and then didn't know their name. And that would be C level. That's where you're at. Somebody who's got like a long time in the biz, you can move up to B plus, A minus level. Like Britney Spears, I would say she's A minus, B plus.
No,
She has her highlights every now and then, but she's not doing anything to be like a mega star all the time.
She is a
Taylor's
C minus.
Taylor's clearly above her right now,
Yeah.
but her book did really well this year.
Who? Brittany?
So, yeah, The Woman Inside Me, I think it was called. It did really well. So, she's still got a fan base, but she's not doing enough to keep the A-list status.
No,
So, I
she a
give her
C
a
list.
B.
She's C list. I give her a C minus.
Yeah, but you know her when you say her name.
Yeah,
So
you know her when you said, but
if I say Dakota Johnson, do you know who that is?
no.
Okay, she's a movie star. And she's going to be in a movie next year. So
Okay,
that's like
a
C-list,
lister.
B-list.
A lister is someone names always carries, always
Right.
doing working. You're gonna hear their name every other couple of months or whatever the case may be. Brittany Child, please. The last time you heard about her, she was at a theme park, right? And that was it or something?
But the last time I heard about her was
Like when she was in the
there was
news.
the book deal, then there was the video with the knives, there was the divorce going on. So, like I said, it's here and there where you hear about her. You don't hear about her all the time.
Do you think Brittany on drugs or were on drugs or is she crazy? I mean, what's your take on
No,
her?
she's just crazy. She's just crazy. She's been beat up by the industry and doesn't know where to go or what to do right now.
Speaking of the industry,
Mhm.
what do you think of the industry? Because do you think they take a lot of people just to have the name put out there and want to be a star, I guess, and they just take a lot of junk off people just because?
I think the industry is going through a transition period. I brought this up about like sports and stuff, how they're kind of transitioning and everything. It used to be you went to Hollywood, you got in some good movies, you became a star. Then around the 2000s, you had your American Idol, you had your Voice, you had your shows where we were going to pick the star and put them out there and get them to vote, and everybody was going to make them a star. You didn't have to work as hard. You basically it was just more of a popularity contest. Then we got into the teens where all these channels came up online. You had Twitch, you had Instagram, you had YouTube, you had all these different mediums coming up that were creating stars. I've actually been researching a lot of them for something I'm getting together where just random people started picking up cameras and just becoming stars just for playing video games, for doing crazy challenges. You've got Mr. Beast, who is just handing out money to people left and right. You had future models who are just starting out with just them lying around their pool doing content and everything. And now it's at a period where I think Hollywood's failing. They don't have money. Next year's going to be brutal to a lot of these studios, and they're not going to be able to make movies build stars. Music is slowly becoming just little beats and stuff to throw on videos. I don't think anybody really listens to the music anymore. You certainly don't see as many singer-songwriters. You don't or you have an older generation still around in music. You don't see very young, new, hip stuff picking up and taking off like it used to. So it's transitioning into this create a star where whatever somebody's going to do something and that's going to make them the star. A lot of people sit and watch this. They watch us on YouTube. We could become stars if if programming on regular channels, which we talked about this in one of our shows, was cable going to be still around? Are people really going to sit at home, every night, 8 o'clock, turn on the TV and watch regular TV? Or, as a lot of people that I know do, they go on and they go in their smart TV and click on over to YouTube and say, hey, what's on YouTube right now? What's live? Let me see. Oh, we got these two guys talking about, all the stuff that's happening today. Let me watch that. Let me see what their takes on it. So it's really becoming the star being made is kind of dead, and you get to become the star is becoming big. So, like, who do you know who's an up and coming star that you think will last?
Well, I mean, I don't get into all the celebrity stardom and all this fools. I don't get into all that. What was interesting, I actually watched the not the whole thing, the making of the Kardashians, right?
Right.
Um, as I was redoing my room, that happened to come on. I just ain't turned the TV, and they were saying that a lot of celebrities had to work for their fame. Like they had to sing, they had to, become songwriters, they had to be in movies. Versus Kim didn't have to do all that. It was just a tape thrown out there, and she was an overnight sensation. So, I mean, it's not her fault that she was an overnight sensation because of the tape. I mean, it is what it is. But didn't her mom have something to do with that?
I believe Ray J threw out an accusation that her mom pushed her to release the tape rather
Oh,
than she just released the tape. That was an accusation. I don't know if it was true or not, but that was kind of what was seen, because you had other celebrities just becoming celebrities because they were, like Paris Hilton, Nicole Richie, and others at the time, that it was like, oh, you're just popular and everybody knows you, so you're now a celebrity. And it was like,
right.
you didn't really do anything.
Right. Especially, are you right, right. Because Paris Hilton, it's just because of the
She never
Hiltons.
did. Yeah,
It just, and child, Nicole Richie child.
that was
She
all
didn't just,
reality TV at the
yes.
time, and
And it was
yeah.
a flop, right?
I mean, it hit for the time, and I don't know how well it would work today because you have a lot more independent stuff coming out. But
Right. But ain't nobody
you
stunned
know,
Paris and Nicole. And then Nicole went away. Then it was just Paris. It was
right?
just too much. But everybody knows the Hiltons. I personally like staying in Hiltons. They nice
Mhm.
hotels. I have no problem. I haven't had any issue with Hilton, but they nice. She was just famous because of her parents.
Right. The name
You know.
stuck.
Yeah, the name. It's just
So,
the name. So
so let's do this. We've went through quite a bit for 2023. What do you see happening in 2024?
that is a good question. I, I can say two
Any
different ways.
Yeah, any
But
topic. Go ahead.
well, ooh, that's a nice question because you have to sometimes in life, this is just my take on it. Your life is what you make of it, right? But I see that one minute I hear things gonna get better, next minute I hear things not gonna get better. I try to when I hear certain things, I just try to prepare for both. Um,
Hmm.
I think as far as the COVID situation, the when it comes to COVID and health and all these other things that's coming on board, I think we're gonna get hit with something next year. I just can't pinpoint it, and you have to prepare yourself for that. But um, in my mind frame, when I hear little stuff like that, I just try to prepare for the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's just my mentality. I can't really say I have goals for next year, but
Okay.
I can't predict what's going to happen next year. I think as far as movies and all that, I think that really going to change a lot next year. As far as I mean, people with money really ain't got to worry about it. It's the us, you know.
Mhm.
I think it's the game changing with with celebrities. I mean, it's seems like it's falling apart to me, and I think it's gonna get even worse next year because it's starting the end of this year. So I mean, it's hard to say. What's your take on it?
All right, where should I start? Okay, I'll bounce off of what you're saying. Yeah, movies are going to be terrible because there's not going to be any coming out. Looked at the schedule for next year because I follow the movie industry pretty freely now. Got a few people throw their names out. Go check them out. Is Film Threat and Neurotic. Those are two great channels that go over all the stuff, pop culture and everything. Basically, the movies got almost cut in half for releases for next year. So you're looking at basically 4 movies a month if they're lucky. They're not going to be big blockbusters. I think there's only a couple slated to maybe get close to a billion. If one makes a billion, hey, be lucky. The strikes really killed it for a lot of this stuff because it allowed the studios and the other companies that make all this stuff to basically say, well, you're not working now, so we have to kind of can this project, call it a day. So they were able to let go a lot of people. There's not as many people out there working. Something that just popped up, I think it was yesterday I saw, Zulily is actually pretty much closing up shop. They were kind of an Etsy type company. They were basically selling out products that were craft type products and stuff like that online. They'd been around since 2010 or 12 or so. And just basically said, hey, we're closing down our website. All the orders that we could fill will be filled. Any that can't be filled will be refunded. And that was it. And it was like, whoa, that was a pretty big name in
It
the
was.
crafty type corner of the. So I think it'll definitely be some contraction. A lot of companies will be kind of looking at how they can kind of maneuver stuff into smaller pods to get things done. I don't know how we'll see with unemployment. It may go crazy, it may not. Um, there's a lot of jobs still out there that are not filled, so you might be able to still be able to maneuver around and get a decent job. What else? Pop wise. Here's what I'll say. If you want to buy something now, buy it. Try to find some good value on it. I have several people that are asking me to look for stuff. Um, so one of them is an S class car, so Mercedes Benz. So I'm just trying to find one that's a good value. Got low mileage. It's
Right.
priced decently for what the market is right now, and what the customer is looking for with color and options. So someone asked me about home prices. Are they going to go down? Are they going to go up? What do you think is going on? There's there's a lot of things moving around right now. The home interest rates going down, so home prices may stay steady or possibly even go up if demand comes back. But if home builders keep building at their pace, then prices could go down. So it's a really up and down situation for all of next year. But if you want something now, just try to find it at a good value. If you want to hold off on it, there's a good possibility it's going to be a hell of a lot cheaper next year. Where, we were both out for Christmas shopping a little earlier in the week. Malls were packed, outlet centers were packed, people were everywhere. I was at lines at gas stations trying to get gas. So people are still pumping the economy with money and spending and spending and spending. And perhaps next year they get to a point where they'll stop spending because they've ran out of money. So it's really a mixed bag, depends on who you're talking to. I think the Taylor Swift Kelsey thing kind of breaks up a little. We've got the elections to look on and see all the madness going on with that. We've got what else? I'm trying to think of a crazy prediction to make. Like I I I just trying to I think there'll be a mega merger in entertainment. I'm gonna come out and say it. I think there'll be a wedding next year that will be insane, like over the top insane.
A wedding.
Yes, a merger, a wedding. Yes, I'm gonna come out and say that right now. Crazy prediction for next year.
Right. Well, I mean, who you think is gonna be?
Two big entertainment names. That's what I'm gonna say.
Okay, well, we
Oh,
shall see.
okay. All right.
I just think in life, moving forward, if people want to better their lives, your life is what you make of it, and you got to really put some thought into it. If you don't know, you have to ask people. Don't be ashamed to ask, for help or to be encouraged by someone or ask someone, hey, what you think of next year? What you think I should do to better my finance situation or my living situation or whatever the case may be, whatever you're going through. But I just think everyone should put their best foot forward, do better than what they did this year to make it a better year for each and every one of them and see how it goes. So, I mean, it's not, it could be hard to stay on top of a New Year's resolution, but if you have the mindset to do it, you can do it. Just ask for help, and just talk about it. I just think communication is key. Find that one that's willing to help you, live a better life and give you a hand up out of the situation that you're in. Like I said earlier, that I'm trying to do even better next year. So I have things in mind. So we'll see, and I just hope for family, friends, and those that are watching that, hey, next year I got to get out the situation I'm in. I got to do better, and we'll see how that goes. What's your take on that?
Well, it's not even a do better kind of deal. I don't like saying that. I just like saying if you don't like the way you're living, just change it.
Do better.
It
That's the
might
same.
it might work, it might not work. I've done a few things in my life where I thought I should change it and it was going to get better, and then it just went right in the toilet. It failed miserably, and I basically started back from zero.
Okay.
But I always took the chance to say, "Let's go try it," because I didn't like everything I was at that time. So I said, let's change it. Let's see if it's better. And then we go from there. If it's not better, we could change it again and then see version 2.0, and it might be what I'm looking for. So that's the thing. The hardest part is just getting started,
Yeah.
which is why a lot of resolutions fail. People get into something and then they kind of do it for a little bit because it's fun, but then it kind of drops off because you don't have the motivation. They say if you can make something happen for 21 days, it then becomes a habit, and then you keep doing it. Um, for me, I set a timer in my phone every night to do exercise. That timer goes off. I have to do it. I have to stop what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll try to do it earlier in the night so that I can shut the timer off for the night and go from there. So there's a good tip, trick for people if they want to try a new activity or try something different. Just set an alarm like waking up in the morning, and when it goes off, you do it.
Not bad. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. You know, life it could be scary, but you have to stay on top of things and make it out of something. So, I think what we did tonight was great. Our last previous shows, we had great topics. We talked about a lot, which I love. We didn't care what we talked about. If it was meant to be, it's meant to be. We talked about it. We gave our
Mm-hmm.
personal opinion on it. Um, so it was great. I enjoyed every segment with you. Um, and we shared a
A-
lot of knowledge between one another as well.
As I did with you, it was a great 6 months into it. This has been a great show. It's been building week after week after week, and it's been really exciting to see how things have going. Um, can I announce this now?
Yes.
Okay, we are going to be taking a couple weeks off, and we need a little bit of rest. Both me and Vernell, we're going to take that rest. It's kind of like a TV show goes on hiatus for like a little bit and then comes back. So we're going to come back. We're going to have some exciting stuff. There's going to be some few tweaks to the show. They're going to make the show run a little bit better, be a little more exciting to watch, and a little more polished up. We really see this as like an enterprise now where, everyone's giving us the approval to say, hey, we like your show. We like watching you every week. We like seeing what you got to say. So we want to just be able to improve on it and make it better. And so we're going to take a little time off to do that. We're going to be back around the beginning of March unless something big goes off. If something big goes off, we're going to be dropping a show. So make sure to hit the follow buttons and subscribe buttons so that way you get notified when we pop back up on. There may be some video drops, there may be some behind the scenes stuff. Um, we'll go over that as we go through the next couple months. But early March, we're going to be popping back up, and you'll see us if you follow and subscribe. Um, Once again, thank you to everybody who's just watched us, live or not live, commented on all our stuff. Our contest winner earlier this year, that was really fun. We're probably going to do another one this coming year, so stay tuned for that. And thank you, Vernell, for joining me. Like this
Of
was
course.
a lot of his idea to get this off the think sheet and onto the actual computer screen that you're watching right now, or TV or whatever you're watching on. So he really he went through a lot to get this going, and thank you for that, man.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Um, no matter how big a person think they are, you can always get advice from your co-host or host because it means a lot to that individual when they do. And me and Anthony, we will come back bigger, better, and stronger, and for you to be entertained in a great way. We greatly, greatly appreciate everyone that has tuned in, those that have followed, those that have watched. And it's not a goodbye, it's see you
See,
later.
see you real
So,
soon.
yes, see you real soon. Thank you. We love you. And, you are much appreciated.
Yes. Everyone have a happy New Year's
Oh,
Eve.
yes.
Enjoy 2023 into 2024. Be
Be
responsible when you
responsible.
celebrate.
Yes.
Yes.
Call AAA if you get too drunk. Let them
Yes.
tow you home for the next 10 miles. So stay 10-mile radius so you can get towed for free. Think about what you're doing. If you have to catch an Uber, please do so. Think about your life and most importantly, others' life.
Yes. And if you're out there driving the Ubers, make sure you get enough rest so you can
Yes.
stay alert. All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
and good night.
Good night, everyone. We'll see you in early March.